A day in my life as a business analyst. Oh my god. So I'll be showing you today what I do as a business analyst working in an IT company here in Chennai, Bakam. So let's just get ahead and uncover it. I got a few recommendations from my viewers that I should start making video in English language, and here this video is for you guys. Make sure that you're comfortable watching it and understanding each and every aspect of how a work life of a business analyst actually is. So this video is not actually going to be about bragging about the office or what food do I eat in a day. It's totally going to be about my work life, what type of tasks and activities am I involved into, and my experience. I have been working into business analytics since the past 1.5 years. Previously, I was into sales for three and a half years. So it's a complete transformation from sales to business analytics. So I totally know the nitty-gritties of how you become a business analytics from absolute scratch without any appropriate degree. If you have any other doubts or any other questions, feel free to drop it in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer it. So there's no one at our office right now. It's a total technical breakdown today. So that is the reason everyone were allowed to go and do work from home. So that is the reason everyone left, and I'm the only one working here right now. So this is my office. It's a mid-sized firm, like having like 100 to 200, 300 employees. And I won't reveal the name of the office for privacy reason. So as you can see, lights are even off. So I'll just explain what I was working on right now, and I'll also explain what different types of tasks do I work on a daily basis. So this is basically a cafeteria. I mean, where we eat and drink coffee and all. So I'll just quickly grab something to eat. I'm really hungry right now. I'll be back and explain you everything about my day in. Fuck. This is basically the leftover of my lunch today. I have like peanut butter and bread and some fruits and salad type, carrot and cucumber. So I'll eat this and then I'll be back. So yeah, this is how the space looks like. Here you can sit, and here is the corridor and then the whole office. I'll just quickly give you an office tour as well. So if you go out towards the right side, you have the restroom here, and then here is the whole sitting space where everyone sits. So basically the first bay, if you see there, the HR department and the other departments sit, which are not totally included in the project. So here it is the developers bay, and then we have a bay for testers, and then I sit mainly in that cabin, or I also sit here. So it totally depends. Yeah, so this is basically my office. So mentioning about the task that I'm working right now, I'm basically handling a sheet of questionnaire which we'll be asking to the client to understand what is their system right now, what is the process that is being followed. So one thing you guys have to understand when you're coming into IT is the SDLC. So SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle. So starting from the initiation of the project till the end of the project, a business analyst works like water. They have to flow everywhere in each and every process. So you have to make sure that wherever you are required, you know how everything works. Even if it is development, even if it is like testing or any other purpose, you have to know how the thing works. Only then you can get into it and solve those things. Obviously that is what business analysts do. So right now I'm working on a questionnaire, developing it in a much advanced way so that we ask the client each and everything to understand their current business process, what is their migration expectations and all the other stuff, which will be taken ahead to the implementation phase and creating the BRD, which is a business requirement document. So going forward, I'll also show you my screen, what am I actually working on, how that looks, and talking about other activities which I do daily as a business analyst. So I won't be bragging about how big is my office or it's not, first thing. So I won't be telling about the office and what do I eat daily. I'll corely focus on what we are working here as a business analyst and what you need to learn if you're trying to get into the field of data science or trying to become a functional or a technical or a multifunctional or techno-functional type of a business analyst. So yeah, let's get into it. So the task I was working on has been completed now, and I have got like 140 plus questions for functional and 160 plus questions in technical. So these are the questions we'll be asking to the client like in the coming days to understand their business process and every other stuff. Then in Zoho ecosystem you have like different products. So if you understand ERP, or if you even don't understand ERP, software is something which helps the business to improve their process. It could be any software, but I specifically work in ERP software and especially in Zoho. So Zoho has multiple products like Zoho Projects to manage the product lifecycle management. Then you have Zoho People, Zoho Expenses. Then you have Zoho CRM to handle all the sales, pre-sales, and marketing stuff. So for every different application, I have added all these questions as well. So we can shoot it to the customers. I'll just quickly show it to you. How does it look? So this is the sheet. We usually work on Zoho sheets. So the first one is functional questions. So we have different processes like project structure and life cycle, under which we have like some 14 different questions, and the client has to respond to this. Then we have task and work management and all the other different functional related questions like resource allocation and scheduling. Then we go to the technical part. So in technical part, you have all the technical questions where how the data migration has to take place, and then if they have an existing software like SAP, so how the data extraction will happen from SAP and it will be migrated to Zoho ecosystem. Then similarly, they have another platform that is called Clarism. So all the technical questions are here, which I have created, and then you have different applications like Zoho Project, Zoho People, Zoho Expenses. So this is what basically you have to work on when you are into preparation of questionnaire and getting into the discovery sessions. So this is the pre-discovery session work that you have to work on, so that you are not blank when you go in front of the client and ask them questions. Now, purely understanding what are the different tasks I usually work on. So right now I showed you one of the tasks which most of the people would not be interested into because they don't clearly understand what this is all about. But when you come into any software industry, and I especially work in ERP industry where Zoho is our primary product. So Zoho has many different applications. You have to first understand what ERP is. ERP is a very vast domain. It's like a very big ocean under which you have small lakes, you have small ponds, you have every different kind of verticals where you can start working into the software development life cycle. And one of the most loved and one of the most interesting, curious, and challenging role what I feel is business analytics, and that is why I'm working here. So I have been into the role since the past 1.5 years, but it was a mixed pre-sales BA kind of a role, not a complete BA role. But here I got the opportunity to work as a complete full-fledged business analyst, where I work closely in the creation of PRDs and then the client-facing opportunities and other challenges, and then creating the diagrams how the process should flow from the start till the end. So if you are in any software development life cycle organization where they're creating softwares or they're providing softwares, there has to be a start and there has to be an end. And when you are into business analytics, you have to make sure that you understand the process very well. So if you're going in front of a client at the discovery session, so what I just showed in the laptop right now is the discovery questions that I'm creating right now. I have made it so far, and tomorrow, day after tomorrow, whenever we are having the session with the client, we will be understanding their process thoroughly. They'll be explaining it in a manner, but it will be in a very vague manner. So with these questions, with the help of these questions, you can make sure that you are getting what exactly is needed to map the process. Because as a business analyst, once the process is delivered from the client, you have to map it in a way so that you get the starting point, the initial trigger point where the business starts, until the end, until the business receives the end money from the customer. So for example, let's take a manufacturing company where the process starts from buying the raw material. So let's say it's a process where it's a make to stock kind of a business process. So there are three different types of processes: made to stock, made to engineer, and then there is one more, I don't remember. So if I Google the third one, it's made to order basically. So these are three different processes that usually manufacturing company follows. And if you're going into the nitty-gritties of becoming a business analyst, you have to understand every technical term or the functional term that is used by the business irrelevant of the industry. So if it's a healthcare industry, you have to know what terms that they are using. If they're into manufacturing, you have to understand what terms they are using. So all these types of things you have to make sure that you are understanding. So talking about the manufacturing industry, when it starts, they buy the raw material, they keep the raw material, and whenever they receive an order, they make sure that they are proceeding with the manufacturing of the whole product. And once it's done, they deliver it to their customer, and then their customer gives the money to the manufacturing company, and then they receive the money, and then the whole process gets completed. Now this process was very simple in terms of theoretical explanation, but when you actually want to map it in your software, it is going to be very critical, because there has to be multiple different phases that you don't actually see when the client is explaining, or if you listen to it theoretically. Because if I say the process is this much only, this simple, but in the back end there is multiple things that's going on. Like you might have employees that are working at your manufacturing company, you need to record their attendance, you need to record their expenses, and then there might be multiple other things that you need to track down when you're wanting an ERP system. So that is one thing. Apart from that, what all different tasks that I work is, creation of the BRD. So BRD is the business requirement document where you have to create the whole process that your client is delivering to you. What is the actual business process that they are working on right now, and you create it as a document and get it signed off from the client. And going forward, when you're working in the implementation phase, you refer to that document instead of going to the client and asking them again and again what are the business processes that they follow. So that is the main essential part that I follow here. Apart from that, I create presentations, I give demos of our product, I help our pre-sales team as well. And then in terms of process mapping, I create architecture diagrams. So architecture diagrams are something where you have to explain the customer how their business flows right now without the Zoho ecosystem in place, and once we implement our Zoho ecosystem, how that process will be. So there are two types of diagrams. One is the as is diagram, which explains how their process is right now without any system in place, and then the other one is 2D diagram where we will be having their system and their business aligned in Zoho ecosystem. So these are some of the types of diagrams that you can create. So there are flow diagrams, architecture diagram, and then there is scalar diagram, other types of diagrams that you can understand and you can learn how to create it. So the most used software by me to create diagrams are Eraser. So Eraser is a GPT based diagram where you give it the prompt and then it delivers you the diagram. Apart from that, if I want to go a little creative and I have bandwidth, I have time to create a diagram like 4 or 5 hours, I go for Canva. So Canva is the best tool for me right now where I create diagram. I am not a person who likes PowerPoint presentation or Mermaid. Using these softwares, it's like very legacy UI, so I don't prefer it. But Canva is very advanced, so I prefer Canva. Everything is like kind of very smooth, not much of a manual work. So if you get used to these software, it's really great. And then talking about the other skills that you need to have as a BA, and what I do is doing the documentation part. So documentation is a very huge chunk of role when you're working as a BA. Not just BRD, you have to create FRD, SRD, and then there are different types of documents that you have to keep on creating. So make sure your documentation skills and the way you present it, the beautification part, the format, the alignment, each and everything, grammar, all of these parts are very important. So this is what I usually do in my whole 3 to 4 months of proper BA experience here in this organization, and I have been really loving my work. And one corporate advice that I would like to give you is, if you're trying to get a job, make sure that you love the job. You don't love your colleagues, or you love how that company actually works, but make sure that whatever work you're doing, you love it, you enjoy it, so that even if that work is given to you for like a stretch of 3 continuous days without any sleep, and you have to work for 72 hours continuous, you can work on it. So that is how your passion, your depth of the work has to be. So that is it for the video, guys. So that is what I do usually here as a BA, and I'm also focusing more on the technical part, understanding how Deluge works. So Deluge is a separate a language that is used in Zoho ecosystem. So how that language is also functioning in the Zoho ecosystem, and how SQL these guys are using to extract data from any other software, or maybe any other data point, or let's say a web page or website, or from wherever they can extract the data. So all those things, even I'm focusing on, I'm also learning a new so much of new things in terms of technicality. But for functional, I think this is something which you have to majorly follow on. So the first part has to understand business process very well, understand the technicalities, terms, what each and every industry is going to use. And then the second part is going to be the documentation part. The third one is going to be diagram, and the fourth and the major part, which I didn't explain, is going to be the AI part. So you have to be very well versed with AI. So I use a lot of different AI platforms, like I use Gemini, I use Claude, I use Grok, Perplexity, ChatGPT. So all these 5 GPTs are my major go-to right now, and I have a subscription on Gemini as well. So it's very simple. If you are in India and you do any Geo recharge for more than 350 rupees, you get a free Gemini Pro subscription. So make sure that you're getting it and you're using the best out of it. And that is it for the video, guys. And if you love the content, I mean, if you want to know more about business analytics and other part, or something that you want to understand from me, then definitely drop it in the comment section. And if you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And if there is any recommendation, anything that you want to share, comment section is always open. That's it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let's meet in the next video about business analytics, or anything that you need to know about.